Okay, so thanks everybody for coming to lecture number 14 in year 4 of our 3 non-credit lectures. It's a combination effort of the UVSS Hempology 101 Club and the International Hempology 101 Society. So today, in some ways, is a lecture I should be familiar with. I studied economics in university when I went to Wilfrid Laurier, and it is something that, obviously being in the business now for 14 years with medical marijuana, and actually I probably started dealing hashish when I was at the age of 16, so I have 24 years of experience in buying and selling various drugs legally, illegally, in a store, in a van, whatever it takes. So I have a certain amount of field experience, I guess, on the issue, and academic experience, but nevertheless, I will admit that some of what I'm about to say I haven't had the time to study thoroughly and in a way as a work in progress. And I haven't gone and studied any specific numbers of other researchers and stuff. So if you're wanting to come up with some numbers, you're going to have to do some searching online. Professor Miron, I think M-I-R-O-N, Jeffrey Miron, from Harvard University is probably the lead authority in the economics of legalization and stuff. So if you want to get some current guesstimated numbers, you can use that. But I'm partly hesitant to use numbers on the size of the industry and stuff, because I would be referring to other people's numbers, and I'm quite skeptical at times about how people generate their information. And so I'm not going to throw any huge numbers of the billions of dollars we're doing in BC or otherwise. I do want to talk, though, about some of the history of the industry, and also some of the issues in terms of legalizing cannabis and regulatory structures necessary to do that. So I'm going to actually probably try and breeze through my PowerPoint presentation. I did most of this last year, and if you want to watch last year's lectures, they're online, YouTube, by all means, please do so. Nevertheless, some history towards my points would be good, because,
what YouTube channel is on?
Hempology has its own
Hempology
YouTube channel.
101.
Hempology 101.
Great, thank you.
So there's a couple hundred of our videos that are up there, different stuff, and we're on the cusp of having our own little kind of section. Well, it's there, but we got to fill it on our forum, or I mean our Hempology webpage, hempology.ca. It's a picture gallery, and we're going to have our video gallery working soon too. But at this point, it's all on the Hempology 101 account. So we talked about how cannabis has been used medically for a very long time, and it's impossible to guess the value of these products historically. Of hashish, certainly through time has been used extensively for recreational, spiritual, medicinal purposes, call it what you will. And many civilizations have come and gone at their ability to produce drugs or trade in them. And so in the 1800s, what you saw was a very unregulated free market in most products, with the exception of the taxes and stuff that would be through stores. But we didn't have a lot of the legal mechanisms that are in place today in terms of suing companies for bad products if you died from trying their drugs, or suing the medical system for that matter. But the regulation of drugs was pretty much wide open. You could sell just about anything, call it whatever you wanted, say it could cure all sorts of different things. You didn't have to have the science to back it up, and the concept of someone rolling through town with a wagon and all sorts of medicines in some ways does sum up what was occurring even in the drug stores in town. They were very much reliant upon the suppliers of different drugs, and there weren't strict regulatory mechanisms or consistencies in place. And so while there was hundreds of products available in the 1800s, and Queen Victoria used a tincture of cannabis for her menstrual cramps and otherwise. It was very integrated into the medical system, but it was a very unregulated system. And so, there's again, hundreds of products with cannabis and opium and cocoa and all sorts of different stuff that was available. But that slowly changed with the advent of the pharmaceutical industry, because a lot of things happened in the early 1900s. Almost with each century, there's this feeling or need to evolve almost in some ways, socially, economically, and politically. And now we don't think of it in the same light, but the term manifest destiny was really spoken a lot of in the late 1800s amongst certain elitists, and then it was spoken of quite broadly in the media and through other circles as there being some sort of divine American right to rape and pillage the world on their own terms in some ways. But in other ways, there was this thought that we were going to be able to manufacture, vehicles and things that could take us to whole new heights. And one of the dreams that was drilled into us was the idea that the drug companies and the medical industry was going to be able to, save us of our ills and our pains. And the way that they were prescribing to do that, for the most part, was through the use of drugs. And so, as cities grew in the early 1900s, in particular, there was this in North America, in New York and Chicago and Washington, where the power structures were forming. There was this centralization of economic power and thought that was really pushing the industrialization of the world. We thought we had unlimited natural resources. We thought that, in some ways, the human species and the planet could survive through anything. And so the production of these drugs was really critical in some people's thinking towards creating a better human. Even in some sense, we thought we had this ability to engineer ourselves to be better, to be disease resistant, and this, that, and the other thing. And so the growth of the pharmaceutical